Welcome to A Deep Dive. We're here to give you the shortcut to understanding the stuff that really matters right now, especially if you're, maybe a language learner trying to get truly fluent,
Mhm.
or a professional looking to step up your career, or maybe you're making a move to a new job and you just need to sound, well, natural and confident when you speak English. You know that pressure, right?
Yeah.
How do you actually break through?
Yeah, it's a common feeling. And look, it's often not about just learning more words, it's about strategic precision. We've actually pulled together research from top linguistic analysts, looked at studies of really high-level language users, and our mission today really is to cut through all that standard advice and show you what seems to be the actual roadmap to advanced communication.
Exactly, because here's this paradox we kept finding in the material. We all assume sounding advanced means like memorizing tons of complex idioms and cramming them into every sentence.
Mm,
We've been told to focus on volume, but the data, it tells a completely different story.
right.
Trying too hard, using too many fancy phrases can actually make you sound less natural.
It really can.
So we're going to show you why that happens, and crucially, what the top speakers are actually doing instead.
Okay, so let's start by unpacking a few really high-value idioms. These are the ones that do sound impressive, but only if you use them right. They need, like, a deep understanding. Take the classic, to bite the bullet.
Ah, yes. That one instantly signals resilience, doesn't it? The core meaning is essentially accepting or, doing something difficult, maybe unpleasant, but doing it with courage because, well, there's no other option. It's the kind of idiom you use when you've finally decided to tackle something tough you've been putting off.
And the origin story is so vivid, which honestly helps lock it in your memory, doesn't it, knowing why we say it?
Absolutely.
It comes straight from the battlefield. Before anesthetics were common, if a soldier needed some painful procedure, right there on the spot.
They'd literally be given a lead bullet and told, bite down on this, just to cope with the pain.
Exactly. Facing the pain head on. And, a key insight here for you, the learner, is all about accuracy. We noticed high-level speakers consistently use predictable patterns, what we call collocations with this phrase, the words that just naturally go with it.
So they don't just drop the phrase in randomly.
Not usually, no. They almost always say something like, I had to bite the bullet, or I decided to bite the bullet. It's typically paired with verbs that show a kind of forced choice or decision.
Okay, that makes sense. So from something difficult like biting a bullet, let's flip to the other extreme. Pure ease, a piece of cake.
Right. Everyone knows this one means something is super easy, very straightforward.
Often used for reassurance, like telling a kid, don't worry, the test will be a piece of cake.
Exactly. But here's a really quick way to accidentally signal maybe lower proficiency. We saw this in student analysis, dropping the article A. A learner might say, the test was piece of cake.
Which feels like such a tiny slip-up, and just one little word.
It feels tiny, but it's actually crucial for sounding natural. It must be, it's a piece of cake. That article, that tiny A, it's non-negotiable. It just makes the whole expression land correctly.
That's a perfect example of accuracy beating quantity. Getting that small detail right pays off instantly. Okay, let's talk efficiency now. Kill two birds with one stone.
Ah, a favorite for professionals, this one. It's all about achieving two separate goals with just a single action. Very efficient. And yes, it's old. Some sources trace versions of it back to, like, ancient Greek stories, maybe involving Icarus even. Ingenuity.
Okay.
But the grammatical track is still there. You've got to watch the verb tense.
Right, so if I did something efficient yesterday,
You absolutely must say, I killed two birds with one stone. Not, I killed two birds.
Yeah.
See, the structure of the idiom is fixed, but the verb tense, that changes with your meaning.
got it. Okay, so we're definitely seeing a pattern. The few idioms that really work well are specific, they're powerful, but man, you need to deploy them strategically. And speaking of strategy, let's look at two more idioms that are directly about smart planning, about minimizing risk in, life or your career.
Yes, the first one is a core principle, really. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-hmm.
The literal image makes it so clear, doesn't it? If you drop that one basket holding everything,
Poof, all gone.
exactly, all your potential destroyed.
And you hear this constantly in business talk, discussions about investments. If you're aiming for career advancement, this could mean not just relying on one skill or maybe one big client. It's a high-leverage phrase because it instantly shows you understand risk management. This sounds sophisticated.
It does. Our second strategy idiom is when in Rome. which is, of course, the shortened version of when in Rome, do as the Romans
This
do.
was all about cultural intelligence,
Ah,
right? Fitting in.
that's precisely. Respecting the customs, the traditions, the culture of a place you're visiting, or even a new environment you're entering. Could be a new country, could just be a new company culture.
And the origin is fascinating, too. Something about differences in fasting days between Rome and Milan way back when.
That's the story, yeah. Shows it's been a social need for, well, centuries. Adaptability.
Okay, so these 5 phrases, bite the bullet, piece of cake, kill 2 birds, eggs in 1 basket. When in Rome, they're definitely valuable tools.
Hmm.
Useful. But the real, like the game changer information, that's coming up next. We're about to share the actual data point that could totally flip how you think about sounding advanced.
Mm-hmm.
But just before we dive into that critical piece of data, if you're getting value from this deep dive, and especially if you're serious about polishing your communication skills, really maximizing your efficiency, please just take a quick moment to share this with someone who might benefit and hit subscribe, your support. It's honestly crucial. It lets us keep digging into these complex topics and breaking them down for you. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Now, for the hard evidence, this is the information that I think serious learners really need to internalize. We looked at the actual speaking performance of students who scored right at the very top in official spoken English tests. These are the people who genuinely sound natural, advanced, fluent.
And what you found just completely reframes how we should approach learning, right? So
Right.
what was the average number of these fixed idioms like the ones we just talked about that these absolute top performers used?
Okay, get ready for this. The shocking data point is this. On average, students hitting those top scores used only 1.2 fixed idioms in their entire speaking test.
Wait, 1.2?
1.2. Many used absolutely zero.
That's insane. We're told memorize these lists, 30, 40, 50 idioms, and the best speakers use maybe 1. How does that work?
Yeah.
If volume isn't the goal, why has the common advice been so, well, off base for so long?
It's because there's a fundamental confusion. We mix up the term idiomatic with the plural noun idioms. Assessors, the people grading these tests, they aren't ticking boxes for fixed idioms, they're listening for idiomatic English.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly?
Well, according to the Cambridge Dictionary definition, idiomatic English means language that is natural and correct. It's the kind of English a native speaker would actually use in that situation.
So it's broader than just those fixed phrases.
Much broader. It includes things like using phrasal verbs correctly, maybe appropriate slang or colloquialisms depending on the context, informal words used naturally. The goal isn't just complexity, it's sounding natural. And here's the kicker. If you try to force a fixed idiom into a situation where it doesn't quite fit or you use it slightly incorrectly, you actually risk lowering your perceived skill level.
Wow. So trying too hard can backfire. It comes down to applying your effort in the right way.
Exactly. Which actually leads perfectly into 2 related idioms about effort itself. The first one, burn the midnight oil, is generally seen as positive. It means working really hard, staying up late, dedicating yourself to a task. Think of old oil lamps lighting the way for late night work. It implies admirable dedication.
Okay. Working hard, focused effort. Got it.
But then there's the flip side. Pushing that dedication too far leads to the second phrase, burn the candle at both ends. This one's negative. It means you're wasting your energy, exhausting yourself, working too much from too many angles. The image comes from, apparently, wasteful, wealthy people lighting candles at both ends, just for show, pure extravagance and waste.
So it's a difference between productive hard work and just unsustainable burnout.
Precisely. And that distinction is key, whether you're studying a language or managing your workload, knowing when dedication becomes detrimental.
Okay, this is making so much more sense now. Let's try and simplify this whole strategy. You mentioned the birthday cake analogy.
Yes. This is, I think, a really helpful metaphor for understanding how advanced language actually works. Think about a big, beautiful birthday cake. What's most of it made of?
Flour, sugar, eggs, butter, the basics.
Exactly. Simple, essential ingredients.
Right.
Our analysis and linguistic research in general shows that the vast majority of everyday communication, like 97% to 98%, is made up of these simple, basic, natural words. The core language. That's the cake itself.
Okay, so 97, 98% is the main substance. Where do the fancy words and idioms fit in?
They are the sprinkles on top.
Oh,
The specialized vocabulary, the rare idioms, the high-level academic words. They make the cake look impressive, polished, decorated. But they are rare. They're used sparingly.
and I guess if you dump the whole jar of sprinkles on top.
It would look messy, right? Unprofessional. Maybe even, frankly, unappetizing. Too much decoration ruins the cake.
Okay, I love that analogy. So the practical takeaway for you, the listener, needs a shift then.
Absolutely. So the don't is, don't just memorize long lists of idioms and then try to shoehorn them into every conversation or answer. That's what leads to mistakes, using them wrong, pairing them with the wrong words, using them at awkward times.
Right. That's the too many sprinkles problem. So what's the DO?
The D is, focus maybe 97% of your effort on making the cake that basic, essential, everyday language as natural, accurate, and error-free as possible. Get the core right. Then, treat those high-value idioms and advanced expressions like tools in a massive toolkit. You pull them out only when the specific situation genuinely calls for that precise tool, and you make sure you use it with 100% accuracy.
Be a craftsman, not just someone throwing paint at a canvas.
Well put. It's about appropriate and accurate application. And finally, look, we know developing these skills can be stressful. It takes time. So we found two more useful idioms that are all about managing your mindset when things feel difficult. The first is classic advice. Don't cry over spilled milk.
Meaning, don't waste energy getting upset or dwelling on a past mistake or something negative you can't change anymore.
Exactly. Learn from it, sure, but then move on quickly. Don't let it paralyze you.
Okay. And the second one for mindset.
It's the perfect antidote to future worries. Cross that bridge when you come to it.
Deal with problems only when they actually happen. Don't stress about potential difficulties way off in the future.
Precisely. It counters that feeling of, oh no, what if I need this super complex word later? Focus on mastering the language you need now, naturally and correctly. Deal with future challenges when they arrive. And we really want to just acknowledge, developing truly advanced, truly natural communication skills. It takes time. It takes consistency. It doesn't happen overnight. Remember that old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day? It really applies here. Consistent quality practice will always, always beat trying to rush the process or overload yourself with lists.
Yeah, that confidence comes from knowing you're using the right language effectively, not just knowing a lot of words. So what does this all boil down to for you? We want to leave you with the final question to maybe think about. In your own field, or towards your current goal, what percentage of your communication is that essential cake? And where specifically can you start strategically sprinkling in just one or two of those high-value, accurate expressions to get the biggest boost in confidence and effect? Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. If you want to keep refining your knowledge, building that communication toolkit, please do share this with others who might find it useful. And of course, subscribe for more in-depth analysis like this. We really appreciate you being part of our community.